Oh yeah. Shout out. Y'all can introduce each other and introduce yourself to the audience as well. And just like on the thing, on your YouTube channel.
Okay.
Well, my name is Gospel, otherwise known as Try. Recording artist, poet, and blah blah. That's my whole CV right there.
Your whole CV is a blah blah.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Sure.
Sure, and my name is Mpho.
Uh-huh.
And that's my name. I think everybody should know that.
Alright, cool.
Wow, why are you cutting me now?
Oh, that's bad.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't say more.
I know.
Yeah, my name is
Continue. Feel comfortable. Continue.
No, that's fine. It's fine. My name is Mpho.
Yeah. Shout out. But I really appreciate your time and like your data and the effort so that we can start off this entire thing that I'm trying to build over. It was supposed to be like a 5 of us, Mara, because the other couple of niggas or jitters, my colleagues are not available because there's a meeting that just happened, unscheduled meeting. They have to attend a client. So without any further ado, today we're about to discuss Kasi, what Kasi means to you as an individual, and how it has contributed, in what way it has formed you as a person, and what do you understand about the Kasi as well. I don't know if where should I start, how this is supposed, and of course we need to dissect and dismantle whatever idea we have and put it on the table, of course in a respectful manner, as I trust y'all are very opinionated peoples of mind. So I'm hoping that y'all will tap into our conscious the best as you can. Yeah, shout out. What is Kasi? What is Kasi? What do you understand about Kasi?
Well, I'd say, Kasi, other than it being a dwelling for settled people decided by government, it's a way of life, man. It is it's a mentality, it's an ideology, and it's a culture on its own. I have had the opportunity, or the what would you call it, words are slipping out of my mind, but anyway, to live in several different types of settlement, from a village to RDP to Kasi suburbs, and all these things. I've taken something from each of and every place that I live, and so for me, Kasi is really unique in the way it functions and operates.
All right. So, Poster, what is your take on what is Kasi, according to you? How would you define or describe a Kasi?
To me, Kasi, we talk about a settlement where black people meet, with different cultures, with different ideas, with different mental spaces. I think, to me, it's a settlement where, yes, us as black people, or other races and cultures, or other people, but we meet here as one, and as with all our differences.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I guess we should understand the word Kasi. I think it's a where does it come from, Vele? What language is Kasi? If you would say, this is Kasi, how would you say, what is the language? What where does it come from? What is What is Kasi? The word Kasi? Is it? Yeah.
Okay, to me, what I understand of like the derivation of the word, it would be like location, which is in English, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then in Afrikaans is Lukasi.
Oh.
Location is Lukasi. So in our street language, it would be Kasi. Or
Oh yeah,
shorten.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out. Yeah. Gospel,
Yeah.
did you know this?
Huh?
Did you know
Nah,
this?
man, we all here to learn, man. I failed Afrikaans, man.
I didn't know as well. Yeah, man. Yeah. So it means Kasi, it's a derivative of Afrikaans.
Yes.
Alright, so because Totita, like the slang of the streets has different names, right? I mean
Yes.
different like
And mostly we use, it comes from Afrikaans.
yeah,
Mostly
definitely.
it comes from Afrikaans.
Alright. So Kasi is a derivative of Afrikaans. So and then we took ownership of that word, man. We just like
Yeah.
we just like messed it up. But yeah, it's cool. So is it best to look at Kasi as a settlement that has but what are the negative impacts, you know, that affects people that come from that such location, such Kasis? Gospel.
Negative things, man. I mean, one, they are people in the Kasi, you know, are not necessarily, when it comes to finances, high class, mostly middle class and lower class. So, you know, one could say that, you know, poverty, as though, even though it's not as big as village, you know, but, you know, is one of the things. And with that, you know, comes things like crime and sort of, you know, and yeah, but otherwise, man, you know, Kasi people are fun. You know, it's good
Have
to
fun.
be in Kasi, bro. I mean, I can't speak bad on those people, my guy. You know,
I did it.
I might mess up my connect back in the Kasi.
Cool. Yeah, poster. What are the negative like things that you find from the Kasi?
To me, like because of like the limited resources that we get in Ikasi. So because of that, there would be lots of crime. There would be like people, you know, trying to survive. Like all we doing is just trying to survive. So I think because of the limited resources that we have, that's where we find ourselves.
Right. Yeah, shut up, yeah. You touch on a very important thing, limited resources. Was it planned? Was it planned for people to have limited like resources from the Kasi? Is it something that was planned? Is it like, was it effortfully, you know, put? Were we put in a condition where we don't have such resources to maybe to pursue a certain agenda, you know, or was it like, is this something that happened organically, or it had mechanical, you know, involvement? It had people that like set it up for certain agenda or certain persuasive. Yeah, was it purposefully done?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, man. And you know, if you go back to those days, those ones that we should forget about, those days.
Yeah.
And I'd say,
what do you mean?
It was. Listen, my guy. This was tactful. It was planned, and it was mainly to segregate Black people, and then from all the resources around the world. I mean, and around the country, sorry, not the world, around the country. And you remember back in those times, we were not allowed to pursue certain jobs, certain things like that. And then, they put us in these classes, basically segregating us, and that's the condition that those people and then had to grow up in. And it's a matter of surviving surviving that situation. So now the question is, after we come up after post apartheid, we still it's not like those conditions will fix themselves overnight. No, there's no black man that's gonna come and save us, and it's like that, and it falls onto each person of every generation, and so much so that one person can only do what all they can for their family. So you get me. I go to school. I have my family. I don't care about nobody else. Sometimes it works out that way. It's unfortunate, but it works out that way sometimes. And to go back to answering your question, yes, it was deliberate. It was planned by the forces that be, and that's just how it is.
Right. Poster, do you agree with what Gospel has just said?
To me, to a certain degree, I have to, I do agree, but I don't think that necessarily, because our mind is like, these people are attacking black people. These people are attacking black people. That's where our mind is, and I think we have to look at it in a different way, and in a way of, this is an economical fight. It's not just one race attacking the other. To me, it's all, it has everything to do with money.
Right.
In terms of, like I said before, the limited resources.
Definitely.
We had to make those resources for ourselves and bring it to Kasi.
Yeah.
They were not given to us.
Yeah.
So I think, again, why I would agree is because when we were given power, they also gave us, what they didn't give us was the solutions to our problems, but they just gave us what we wanted, and what we wanted was to be in power, but we weren't really in power, and we're still not really in power. So that's where I stand with it.
All right.
No, man, they're getting controversial right here, man.
It's true. The process.
Maybe I have to be that guy.
Definitely, you gotta be that guy.
Yeah.
So if I have to be an advocate for the black conscious community for a moment, from that space we got a lot of factions. We have a lot of ideas. Some are very militant, and some are sort of economically looking at the whole entire space. Now the question is, the thing about Kasi is not like something that is only synonymous to South Africa, right?
Yeah.
I mean, an equivalent word for Kasi is hood, right? In the hip hop community, it's hood.
Sure.
Yeah. Townships, hood,
township, ghettos, and so on. And it is something that has happened throughout the world, the entire world that is capitalistic, that has experienced some form of oppression or segregation, apartheid, all of those aspects. You find out that in most cases, the group that is secluded or like put in Kasi positions, it's black people, And since my homie Poster, you touched on economics, is it really really economics, or is it like a skin issue or like a problem of skin color? Because we have like history indicates that people that are occupying such areas, ghettos, townships, Kasi, that are predominantly black, or like and the people that occupy suburbs or like higher areas where they are like economically thriving are predominantly white. Is this
Mhm.
is is this very an economic thing, or is like based on that, like based on
Um,
such statistics? So why
okay.
is it that we find predominantly black people or people of color? Yeah, post.
So what we usually get and what we usually would want to understand is that black people are in attack
Yeah,
by a certain race
yeah,
or black and brown, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Also coming to like the Asian or whichever race
Yeah, yeah.
besides black,
Uh-huh.
besides white, sorry. So this is the idea when the idea you get from black conscious people.
Mm-hmm.
These people would say, um, what they would say is black people are being attacked by white people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not necessary. What I'm saying is it's not really the case. The case is you are being attacked, or yes, you're being attacked because you don't have resources.
Mm-hmm.
Power comes with choice. Power is choice.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have the choices to do most of the things that you'd want to do because you don't have this paper you're given to have a choice.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
So
not.
we also get white people who feel that black people are attacking them or they're being attacked.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a fight against, what I'm saying in short is not necessarily a fight against these different races.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what we want to see. That's what's given in us for us to see. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that. This is just an economical fight.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let me try.
Yeah.
So what do you what's a
Uh, my take is that it's a bit of both,
mm-hmm.
and I'm reminded as we're talking like this of a certain study. I forgot who conducted it. Was it Reagan or someone?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this guy went to this study took place in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this guy wanted to introduce new reforms, that will help the white people there out. So what he heard, the results from what he was doing was that the white people in that area didn't care about the reform that will help them live a better life. They just wanted to know if they were living better than black people. If they were, then they didn't care.
So they didn't care about whether they themselves. Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah, they themselves were impoverished. They just wanted to know if they were living better than black people. If they were living better than black people, they were content in their poverty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but in all honesty, it's a little bit of both. It is a fight for economy, and it's a fight on race. I'll say black people should just, how do I put it? We as black people should learn to band together, and that's the bottom line of it all. If you want a solution to everything, it's just us banding together, and that is what white supremacists, are really afraid of. Black people banding together and becoming better people for it, becoming more in power or economically strong,
Mm-hmm.
and that means, like my brother Mpho just said right now, you have the money, you have the power, you got the right to make choices that actually are not supposed to be in your hands, you know and so it's a little bit of both, and it's very frustrating. This,
But
I believe that such a topic is really complex and cannot be unpacked in a single day.
right. Yeah, but 100%. hopefully we'll be able to unpack it in 40 minutes. That's the idea. So yeah, the thing is, it's easy. I'm not trying to like sideline any idea here, but I feel like in
Yeah.
an economic space, yes, it's really simple to trace the problem or the issues with the whole entire supremacist, or like how should I call it,
Yes.
the system. It's easy to trace the reasoning behind the exclusion, the oppression, and whatnot. You can say that it's the fight for resources. But like Gospels just touched on, like in a situation whereby it's racial, it's more racial than economically, you find it difficult to understand why would a person, you know, act in supremacist, like ill, bad ideas that are very supreme. We don't understand how, like, white people came about and thought that I'm better than this person because they are black, or I'm better than them. Was it like a group thing whereby, like, it's a group of people that, got together and said, because of resources, because we don't have resources, we need to exclude these people? Or is it like a spiritual warfare? Is it because of our color, because we can survive certain, climate conditions, or because we can, create things out of nothing? Or is it purposefully barely out of a survival of like a certain race? Because there's a concept, eugenics. I don't know if you all know the concept eugenics. You know eugenics?
No, I don't know.
So
No.
eugenics is it's a Nazi idea. I think it was done by a Nazi scientist, where Hitler decided to, for people to have certain traits. They believe that people have traits based on skin color or like their race.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to reduce certain ill, unfavorable traits, you need to breed them with certain kind, like pure white or pure black or pure whatever, or pure German, because then it was against the Jews, right? So like just taking that concept on its own, having the idea to be pure white because you believe like black people are less. If you have traits from black people, your mind, you don't have the right mentality to be a human being. You don't have like maybe certain diseases, because of your race, you are limited to do certain things, to think in a certain way, So like from that space, because this is it was a scientific study. Nobody questioned the morality of it, the ethics of it. It was just like, we need to make pure Germans, and it prevailed. It prevailed within that space. So what's the cause of it? Why is it a problem to be humans, to be to be just one human race?
Yeah, so I'm glad you also touch on that, on being, and I think also our brother Gospel also said some of the same thing that you say. The problem with the people who are in high power, right, is that they do not want a union. They do not want unity. They do not want, whether it's black unity or white unity, they don't want that. And overall, they don't want blacks or every other races coming together as one, as a human race. That's what they don't want, because they understand the power that would have, right?
Yeah.
Because which is why they're pushing this which is why also this might be also controversial, which is why they're pushing and funding the Black Lives Matter movement. It's funded by rich white people, right?
Yeah.
Why are these rich white people funding something that they don't want? They against. Why would they fund it?
Yeah.
You see? So what they don't want is unity. I'm not against black unity, right?
Yeah.
I'm really for black unity. But also I want us to be a human race and stop
Yeah.
like all of this, why this white person is attacking this. No, it's really not about that.
Right.
Like, and there has been instances where, or places where there's been unity within both races or all the races,
Yeah.
you know. So, and it was successful. So because I think also the problem was the history of every other race is in the books and it's written, except ours, right?
Yeah.
And I might be, you probably would think that I'm being contradictive, but our us as black people, we never used to write things and leave it in books. What you know of black people, you would be told by a white person. So our history was like, you would have, I also came across this thing, you would have somebody that's trained to remember everything that was happening around the time and around the era. That's how we used to do it. So this person would tell our history. So it wasn't written down. It was just told,
Orally.
you know,
Yeah. Orally shit.
already. So which
Yeah.
is why you would have this whole misunderstanding around who black people are. So because of that, also the black history being extracted, that caused white people to not know who black people are, who we really are. Because what a normal black person would know of themselves is, we come from slavery and we come from apartheid. We come from that. That's the only history that you would know. And I'd question somebody that only knows that our history comes from apartheid, slavery. If that's the only history that you're saying black people come from, then I'd question you.
Right. I don't know. Gospel, I feel like your sound right there is UK.
My sound is what?
There's some, unwanted sound effect from your mic.
Yo, I don't know what it may be, man. Let me just take off this mask or something like that. Maybe that's the problem.
Hey.
Hey, I'm sorry, man. Oh, COVID. I've been outside, man, so I had to protect myself.
Yeah.
There's a pandemic going on here. I don't know about you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
do you have anything to say on what Mpho just said?
I'm not sure about. I have actually, I might have a number of things to say, but okay. Sorry, something just popped up on my screen. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I also saw that.
Yeah, my bad. It was me. They have gifted us with more minutes so we can have a conversation unlimitedly. So it's fine.
Okay. So your initial question was on the the Aryan race, the tests that were going on and stuff like that, and that you were asking whether it was a deliberate thing that we just start hating these people or whatnot, man. I believe it was just that one guy who had an idea and then influenced all his buddies. Then you spread like wildfire through society. It was like, this guy gave me wrong, so let's get them. You know?
Right.
And that's how it spread. I believe it was just that, and may also probably it may stem from a position of jealousy in that one guy or whatever. Unfortunately we may never know
We
what
may never know.
transpired.
You mean, yeah, but so yeah, okay.
Exactly.
All right. So the thing is, what Mpho just touched on, it's the okay. Let's touch on a bit. New World Order, right? It's a it's a constant perception of like this whole entire New World Order, one race, one government, one one currency, one superpower, maybe. Why is it a negative thing, whereas we are all fighting to be unified as a people? If maybe
Come again?
the question is clear enough. If like we all know New World Order, the conspiracy behind New World Orders, like people trying to control the entire race, whatnot. And there are like societies that are trying to push for that, so on and so forth. And so if we now as a panel decide like we all for a unity of a human race, right? We are all for the unity of a human race. And if we are all for a unity of a human race, is a concept of a new world order such a bad concept after all, if we are all for a human race? There anyone?
If I should quote the most controversial person I know, Kanye West. No one man should have all that power. No one man should have all that power. It's a dangerous idea. An entire human race functioning under one currency, under one leader, or even if just a panel of leaders that we chose, it's a very dangerous concept. That person could end up screwing us all. I don't know. Maybe it's my survival instincts, that makes me to have trust issues. But I believe like we can be united within our respective borders. The same way we can be united living in separate houses. My neighbor lives next door, but I'm watching out for him. I love him as my neighbor, but he ain't living in my house.
All right. So,
okay, to me, I think as Black people mostly, I'm gonna refer to Black people because I'm Black. So
yeah,
as Black people, we wait for somebody, like we waiting on this Messiah to help us throughout this thing. We waiting for a certain leader to take us to our desired place. And I think that's the problem. Maybe it's not, the solution is not going to come from that one person, or it would come as us forming that unity, and understanding each and every problem each and every one of us have. So if we would have understood that, because I can't take whoever Skuman from wherever white land. I can't understand him. I can't let him understand what I'm going through in Sebokeng, But us as a people in Sebokeng need to understand and come together with the differences and problems that we have and deal with it before we could take it to Johan Skuman from whatever.
Right. So
I think we need to understand our problems and solve them ourselves, but as a group.
So, but the thing is, right? So you're saying like New World Order, it's a dangerous concept. Gospel says it's a dangerous concept because not like a panel of people cannot like hold such power because they might screw us over. And then you're saying New World Order, perhaps it's a far-fetched idea because we need to fix our issues here in our areas first, and before we can get to like New World Order, maybe we would have fixed our issues. If
I think I'm inclined to agree with Mpho on this one. You know,
yeah,
we have our own issues in our community, and funny enough, you know, if another person were to join us, will say, "Oh no, that's a far-fetched idea," because even in our own cases, you know, there's this mistrust among us, and we are failing to be united, you know, and which is weird. I guess we just have to find that commonality, the one common thing that will get us band together. They'll say, okay, this is our common goal, and we're working together towards this thing. And then we can start talking about all these other people, like all Cassis, including the world and whatever.
yeah.
Once we solve our internal affairs first, you
Yeah.
know. But as far as the new world order goes, man, I'm sorry, I'm not for it. I'm just sorry.
All right. So
Yeah,
So can I just come in there for a second?
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. What I'm saying is that, like, because now what the new world order is saying, they're saying uh they're looking at it from a top level, right?
Oh,
And then down. They're looking from top, looking down.
uh-huh.
What we as Africans used to do is we started from the bottom upwards. We worked our way upwards
Yeah,
and
definitely.
not the other way around.
Yeah.
So this system turned it around, you
Oh,
know. So for example, we would have a certain leader in our community which dealt with the problems of our community, right?
mm-hmm.
So if he could not deal with the problems that we had, we'd then go higher to somebody higher than him, you know, like a king or president, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so on and so on and so on. So this person at a lower level understood our problems because he lived within us. The problems that we had, he also encountered, right?
Mm.
So it was easier for us to detect problems, you know, because now, also an example, somebody would say social distancing now that we're doing,
Mm.
but you don't understand what happens in small farm where like 7 people live in one yard, or
Mm-hmm.
like 12
Shout out to
people
my
live in
shout
one
out to my
shack,
place.
in one
That's where I come
shack.
from. Yeah.
Oh, that's where you come from. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's my situation. I know that. Now
You know,
that's where I come
you
from.
know,
Yeah.
these
But
people can't there's certain ideas that were given to them that they can't go within. They can't go, you know, according to these ideas because of the unfortunate settlement,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that they are in.
yeah.
So the person that gave the idea did not understand. It was for the good, but he did not understand the problems at the lower level
That we facing at the lower level. Yeah, you
that
touching
we're
on.
facing at the lower level.
Yeah, definite because the Kasi, it has a lot of issues, and some of them people are hoping that the government can fix it, you know. And I think one of the reasons that I created this channel was to, like, more than anything, share the right information, you know, share the right philosophies, and, you know, share the right um, principles that I didn't know prior coming to, like, you know, getting access to the internet, you know, things like that. I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
um, because I am from that space, there are certain principles, ideas that sort of elevated my own consciousness as a person. Because I found out that a lot of people from where I come from, they didn't know about themselves, you know. They also
Yes.
are fed this perception of, you know, they are inferior, they are less of a, you know, when they look at the other race, because, you know, they are fed the concept of being a slave and so on and so forth. Um,
yeah,
they, they sort of separate themselves from who they are actually and their own capabilities. And that's one of the negative issues we have about settling within areas of Kasi, you know. Yeah, so with the New World Order concept, I think the issue y'all just like laid it forth, and I'm really grateful that y'all put it like in a manner that it's simple to understand, because yeah, there's a lot of issues within our borders or within our areas that are still not, that we do not fully grasp, you know, and sometimes it creates a psychological dissonance, like it conflicts with the intentions of what a people as a collective are trying to build. What I mean by this is that, you know, in a capitalistic society, it's all about me and my family. And I. So,
yeah.
and with that, there's a lot of trouble, because if you look at yourself from a single uniform, not a uniform, but a single self-preservation mentality, then it means for some weird reason you need to step over someone to get up the ladder, to get up the hierarchy, you know. Hence maybe the whole like, you know, upside down pyramid perception, where like the resources at the bottom are limited, but once you go up the ladder, you find that the more the limited people it becomes, but the more resources they have and the more power they have up the ladder. But the power, and it's weird, because the power is with the people, and with the right kind of mindset, the people would understand the power they have, because you know resources are, it's a perceptual concept. Resources is a very perceptual relative concept, because we put value in objects that do not give us life. Let's just put it out there. Like for instance, if you're gonna take, if you, let's say you have a gold in your hand and I have paper, you know what I'm saying? And that paper is going to be valued based on the paper that I have. And we haven't talked about the food that you're supposed to eat. We haven't talked about the clothes that you're supposed to wear. We haven't talked about the land that you are occupying, you know. So of course there is a lot of misconceptualization of value in things that we sort of, you know, look for. You know, value is in health. Value is in being able to eat, being able to, you know, breathe, the air that we breathe. These are valued, necessary valued resources. But because in this capitalist society, we look at, you know, tangible things that do not actually, if in a context of survival, you don't really need a goal to survive. Let's just be honest. You don't really need money to survive. But because we live in a capitalist society, we chase, you know, we chase these things. These are the things that we chase because probably they give us access to food, to land, to space, to air that we breathe. And we find ourselves that from Kasi, a lot of people don't have such commodities. They don't have food, they don't have space, they don't have the right air to breathe, because you find out that there are like a lot of factories polluting our air, the water that we drink, you know, and you find out that the same people that put us in this position, they have a lot of this, they have like abundance of this, you know, and it is crude, and it's a very, it's an upside down perception. And I feel like with the right knowledge, with the right principles, with them, like there's a book by, I don't know if it's Du Bois, The Miseducation of a Black Society. I think that needs to be translated and needs to be included in our Kasi syllabuses education system, in order so that people have grasped the self, you know, that You know, they need to know who they are to the best of their own ability. So Marabit, it's a mouthful. It's a mouthful, I know, because I have said a lot of things
Yeah.
at the same time. But what I was
Man, you could hold this meeting alone, man, if you wanted to. Shit. I mean, I'm wondering, what am I even doing here, man? You got this.
yeah, my bad. But what I was trying to say, you know, in a nutshell, what I was trying to say is that, yeah, the issues that we have, it's all in the mind, you know, it's all in what we value as a people. And we find out that a lot of people from areas that I come from the country that I come from, they have a limited perception of themselves. You get what I'm saying? They don't have the entire idea of their own capabilities. And this is a very, you know, it's a very weird, I mean, it's a very conflicting thought, because a lot of things that are prevalent in our society come from the Kasi. You know, the music that we consume, the fashion that we consume, the what is this, the yeah, the music, the culture, how culture is shaped. It comes from the Kasi, you know, and it goes up to the area in which people are not, you know, are not communal, so to say. Yeah, so it is a weird thing, because, you know, I don't know if what I'm trying to say, is it best to have areas such as Kasi? Do we need such areas, or do we have to dismantle the whole entire concept? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What do y'all think? Anyone? Do we need Kasi as a location, or do we need to dismantle the whole entire concept of Kasi?
It's it's a very weird and heavy ask. You know, there are some people. Let me say this: there are some people who are comfortable in the Kasi.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know, there are some people I know who work very good jobs, but still go back to live in a Kasi, because you know that's where they feel most at home. You understand me? Like I said, it's a mindset, it's a culture, it's more than just a living area or a society. It's more than that, you know. But going back to some of the things that you touched on, you know, you say most of our music and culture, yes, you know, we draw a lot of inspiration from Ikasi. And the thing is, you know, Ikasi as a whole, or Black people as a whole in South Africa, we've been conditioned, you know, to say that, you know, we're inferior. I mean, not me directly. I mean, you know, my parents, my great-grandparents during those times, and that thing has been passed on through society. And in any way, through your interaction with people, you know, you get the same experience. You know, we're always talking each other down because that's all that we know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all that we know. Number two, this thing of waiting on a government to come save you is not going to work. It's not working for anybody.
No.
You know, we can protest all we want. You know, you'll just get enough to survive for that moment. We will get enough to keep us quiet until the next problem arises. And then we'll continue doing forever.
Yeah, yeah.
So we gotta rely on ourselves, and that's the problem. I recently come across on social media this guy. He created a brand, right? It's his brand of clothing, shoes, whatever. You know, and you should have seen the number of people that were talking him down on social media. Yeah. It's like, man, I'd rather go buy Louis Vuitton out, but you know. You know, some of these brands are created by racist white people. I'm sorry, YouTube, man. But sorry, YouTubers, but that's the truth. That's the honest truth.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the time, you remember Slicker, a number of years ago, released this song, Slicker from Squatter Camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Released this song called
Sure.
Black the Fools.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah. That song was all truth. And they took him down. Why? Because he was speaking like, hey, yo, we black people need to do better. We need to support each other and whatever. But,
No,
you know, black people, babona ngomo posathini ke.
man, I think
Sibona ngomo.
Okay, so I think to answer the question first, you know, I think what Kasi is now, it's not what it used to be then, you know.
Okay.
And that's the problem, because I find it so cruel to understand that there's two, like, these same people who look like me, like they live just right next door, but like we don't do the same things. Like the culture is very different from mine, you know. But this person looks like me and lives next door to me, you know. And I think the ideas around that are just, I don't agree with them. And again,
Do you think it's a thing like a generational gap, or you know, as times change, things evolve, and a generational gap type of thing?
I think when you say gap, you talk about something interesting. That's a word, an interesting word. When our people have lost the knowledge that our grandmothers and our great grandmothers had, you know, because of now we see each other differently, you know. There's lack of knowledge of self now, rather than, you know, back then, you know. And people would argue then why did this happen if they had so much knowledge? You know?
That's probably the most argued thing. That's dominating in the white society. Yeah.
But what we should also understand is, like, I just want to take you back a little bit. When you were young, and like you guys, you guys had nothing, but you lived, you know, you didn't have no worries. Everyone was happy in the house. Everyone was happy. And what I don't understand now is a hungry child that lives next door to me can't come to my house and eat. I just don't understand that. At first, you wouldn't go hungry. You know, Raka next door, you eat, you know. And I think we've moved away from the concept of, because you know, every parent in my kasi is my parent, you know, and they can discipline me and show me the right way. Sorry?
So it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah, it takes a village to raise a child, right? So we've moved away from that, and we've modernized our way of doing things, and now, no, we've built these big fences, and you know, so that nobody comes in. You know?
Who are we keeping out? Who are we keeping out of these fences?
We keeping out our people. But anyway, we keeping out our people. I think to touch on that, I think to touch what Poster just said, Kasi, the gap, and also the gap. The gap is in people attempt their best to escape poverty. You get what I'm saying? Now, when people have, you know, needs that they need to fulfill, they act in ways that's supposed to fulfill those needs, right? This is bigger. Sometimes it becomes bigger than their purpose in life. You know, they don't get to ask themselves such questions. Why am I here? Whatever, because they are chasing survival. And when you're chasing survival, you think that's your That's your whole entire reason for you existing, right? And Kasi, of course, if you have such psychological behavioral traits, you tend to be animalistic in a way that it's all about you, self, and everything. You don't have the opportunity to think about other people because you don't have as well, and back then hence a lot of people, you touched on it, like back then, especially in the settlements of Kasi, people had the reason for them to exist was to be less of a human being, and it was to serve this supremacist or apartheid government, and that was there, and they were content. They were fulfilled. They were flourishing within those areas, and of course, when there was an outlier, that person will be taken out from the society, will be killed on whatever reason that may be. Now, the beauty, I think there's a quote that I really appreciate by J. Cole. Beauty in the struggle. There's beauty in the struggle.
Mm.
I think that's the most beautiful phrase or complex, idea that has been written, because some people find out once they chase the paper, once they chase the resources, they lose, they lose the beauty that they found within the struggles they had, because through the struggles they had true connections, they had true fulfilling conversation with the right people, they didn't feel the need to protect what they had because they didn't think that people were out to attack them. You cannot attack me when I don't have anything. So the best thing that you can do is have a meaningful conversation with me. And there's a lot of beauty in that. And it's very, very black to say, because a lot of black people share that, Sometimes it's the chase for the paper. Once we chase the paper, we create meaningful connections. We create, a lot of people, and me as a person, I find that I have created a lot of meaningful connections with such people as yourselves, that I find it difficult when I hear quotes such as, be careful who you rub shoulders with, because they might be out to get you. It's difficult for me to protect myself because I don't have much, for people to take away from me. And with that said, it's difficult to be, animalistic, protective, and the best I can do is to have a meaningful, humanistic connections, So before, just to like wrap it up, how do I feel? I think I say a lot in a short space.
Hey,
But what I'm trying to say is that, a lot of old people would say, the best time they had was when they were under oppression, because their meaning to life was just to serve. That they could like wake up, go to bus, get a job, get paid, come back, they have a house, and it was all meaningful to them because they also had to socialize their kids to tell them that you are black and you are inferior, and as harsh.
No, that's sad, man.
It was sad. It was sad. It was harsh. It was sad, but at the same time, in that sadness, they still were able to create beautiful, meaningful relationships. Hence, for them, it felt justifiable to say the past was the best time for them. And, it's understandable at the same space because jazz came from that space, blues came from that space, ballroom came from that space, Everything that we consume, everything that is like was stolen from us came from that space. Do we?
Okay, so let me ask this question. So would you say that you'd be better off when, as an individual, living in that era, looking over your shoulder, convinced that every time you are seen with more than 3 brothers, man, you may get chased down by the police.
Definitely.
It's a slave mentality at the end of the day. And like, I'm not undermining the good things that came out of it, but also saying like it was best to live in that time, whatever. It's a kind of slave mentality, and I've heard it not only from Black people, but the people who are oppressing Black people.
No,
you know,
everything definitely.
Like, I've heard it from 2 sides, you know, and not to say that good things like some of the music we have, some of the great songs that we have. I mean, Abu Brenda Fassi, you know, some of the so beautiful music that we have came because, you know, there was a struggle and whatnot. And to say that it was better then, for me, just comes off as a slave mentality. And for us right now today, as Black people, you know, no matter you're in a village or a kasi, you know, we have to pick our own struggle and march all forward, because our own struggle right now is financial freedom. That's it. That's our current struggle. You know, financial freedom, land. You know, we need to get our priorities straight. But you know, but I cannot just say that it was better back then. I'm happy I'm living now. I'm also speaking as an artist. Now I can write what I like Biko. Back then I wouldn't be writing like what I like. You know, I'd write something that's so left field, I get arrested for it just for putting pen to paper. Get it? So I rather live now, and you know, I still have meaningful connections, and you know, if you want meaningful connection, just put down your phone, just put down your TV, and go play outside like normal children. That's it. You know, children these days spend so much time on their smartphones and everything. If you want your child or your nephew or your niece to have a meaningful connection, you know, put down their phones and electronics. Go play outside. I did it. You did it. I'm sure Mpho did it. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's how you build meaningful connections. Go play outside. Put down the phones.
Do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, but to me, I think what we run away from is solutions, right? What are the solutions? You know, and I think the people that were appointed to aid the problems are people who speaking a language that Batwakasi don't understand.
Definitely.
You know? But I don't think that everything now is bad from that era. And in that era, everything was bad. Also, you mentioned the music, the culture, everything else that was good that came out of that. But we should understand also it's a matter of knowledge, right? Those people, what they knew at that time was it is good to go for this and serve this system. That's all they knew. Right now, we know that that system is a way of oppressing the less fortunate, right? The rich gets richer, the poor gets poorer. That's the whole system. That's how it's said. So now we understand that. For them, it was good at that time to say, I'd rather live in this era than what you guys live in. You know? That's all they knew. That's all they knew. They knew that. But they were powerful minds like Steve Biko. You had these powerful minds that, and I'm forgetting this person I wanted to also mention. Robert Sobukwe. Is it right?
Robert Sobukwe.
These are people that are not being mentioned now, like a Nelson Mandela. You know, the other people.
Okay, before I get too controversial.
But let's not get there. Let's not go there. You know,
Yet.
there's just so much to
Let's
say,
not
but
go there yet.
limited time to unpack. Yet, right?
Yeah.
You see, so I think the only solution that we could come off is knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Give our people knowledge and knowledge of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Truth.
Yeah.
I think knowledge, truth, you know,
Mm-hmm.
of themselves. I
Mm-hmm.
think that could aid most of the problems that we have, and I stand to be corrected.
Definitely.
Can I just say
Yeah.
Can I just say something? Ne? And it's interesting that you mentioned knowledge, and you've mentioned it almost throughout the entire thing.
Definitely.
The problem the problem that I have right now is that we don't care about knowledge, my guy.
Anymore.
If we would, we wouldn't be burning down libraries as part of our protest. Who the hell burns down a library? You know, we have phones, and we are illegally downloading music and movies instead of looking for that knowledge, my guy. And then we're going to complain that the government or the older people are not bringing this knowledge to us. When you have all this technology in your hands, you have freaking libraries that you're not going into. So, you know, it begins, if you yourself as an individual want that knowledge, you will make a commitment to go and find it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
If
something.
speak.
If I would to like, you know, agree or disagree at some point, for certain people, especially where I come from, they don't have access. We don't have access. Like the people that where
But you know what you have. Like, I think what we get wrong is that, or what we don't understand is, there are forms. There's a lot of forms where you can get the knowledge, right? You don't necessarily have to read a book or go on the internet. You can talk to an elderly person just next to you, you know, that lives with you. There's many forms to get this knowledge. It doesn't come from the library only, you know. I think, because we think that it comes in a book, in a documentary, on the internet, that people are limited to this knowledge thing. You can also get the knowledge from yourself. Study yourself.
Definitely. Yeah,
that's where the answers are.
The best knowledge is the knowledge of self. The best knowledge is the knowledge of self and knowing that you are here and you exist. But some people have a wrong perception of. Is it okay to say a person has a wrong perception of themselves or a wrong knowledge of self? Is it okay to say that? Now, this is a very philosophical dilemma. It's a very philosophical dilemma where, like, you have to tell a person, hey man, this is not who you are. Because a lot of us from Kasi that were heavily influenced by hip hop. You know, we were told so many times that hip hop is not who you are. This is not you. Who you are is quite or like you know, those type of things. And you know, like we were like the community was literally
getting personal now, go.
That's what I experienced when I was a kid. You know, I was heavily ostracized because I was a hip hop kid. You know, I was told that, hey, I see how it is. You shouldn't even think in those terms. So, you know, if we say like the best knowledge is the knowledge of self, you know, what type of self are we talking about? Like, or is it like in a situation whereby, know yourself, let me know myself. Because there are some people that think that they were born in this world to be bad people. There are people that genuinely think that they were born to like bring harm and, you know, sort of like, disrupt the system.
I know, you're talking about psychopaths.
What is it? They're psychopaths. But I mean, like, to what degree is it toxic to be knowledgeable about self from self? Like, where do we draw the line? You know, But before anything, Kashi, do we need such areas? Like that was my initial question. I think it diverted in some way. How did
No way.
do we need areas such as Kashi, or like we should dismantle or like remove that entire concept, where like we should level out the entire playfield? Like, yeah, do we need Kashi, or like Kashi's environments that are not needed? Can we answer?
You asked it, and I think I answered it. You know, I said to a certain, it's a very difficult question to answer.
Wait,
You know,
wait.
it's like I said, I answered this. I remember answering this.
Yeah.
I said there are certain people, one, who feel comfortable at the Kasi.
Uh-huh.
That's the number one thing. And number two, I mean, you remove the Kasi, you're basically removing a lot of things. You're removing a culture, you're removing a mindset, you're removing all these other things that come with the Kasi, and probably you're removing one of the, you know, the best artists that will come out of South Africa because of the struggles we went through a Kasi. You know, you're making the person too comfortable. He's too comfortable, man. He'll end up doing, I don't know, some trashy song like in the field.
Trap.
You never know.
You
You
end
never
up doing
know.
trap.
So, no, I'm not going to disrespect trap, man. T.I. created trap. I'm not going to disrespect trap, man.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, but probably you'll make a song like Gucci Gang instead of, you know. But now because of the cast, we have guys like Touchline, Double HP, Pro Kid. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, like Ikasi is bigger than any one person. That's what I can say. It's bigger than one person. So for someone to come up to me and say, "Do you think we need or we don't need Ikasi?" And then it's a very difficult question to answer. Yes, we need it, and to a certain degree, you know, it's like, and then if you remove Ikasi, and then where are we gonna put these people? It's not like they're gonna become rich tomorrow just because you remove Ikasi.
Yeah. So boost our.
So,
yeah.
I would say yes. We need it. We shouldn't like remove or dismantle anything that has to do with Kasi. But yes, but again, we have to understand what we mean by Kasi. And because what it is now is clearly not what it was before. You know? And I explained earlier on how we live now, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, but just to keep short, yes, we need it. It really is needed.
So it's a big part of South Africa and South African identity.
Yeah.
We need Ikasi.
So, but okay, cool. So, what does Kasi people need to reduce the issues that we face?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Oh, knowledge. Yeah, knowledge definite. But we need to be practical, Poster. Come on. Obviously, knowledge.
Okay, but to be okay, sharp. To be real and, you know, to talk on reality, I think what we need is because before we had like Kasi superheroes, we had people who you really lived with, and now he's there. You know, I think now what we do is when they get there, they start speaking a different language, you know, to what we as Majida Kasi understand, or Batubakasi understand, you know. They don't represent Kasi anymore, you know. These superheroes that we have now, no, I wouldn't say that.
So they don't sell out. They sell out.
No, everything is needed, my brother. Everything is needed, and sellouts are needed to some extent. But we can't go there. Wait, we can't go there now. We can't discuss that now. But yes, but you know, these superheroes that we have right now, they just not representing what us as Kasi people do and live, you know. So a child that's 6 years looking at this superhero, he thinks, okay, I must be like that, you know, and that is not Kasi is.
Yeah. I get you. So you're saying we need
So we need Kasi superheroes.
superheroes, more people, more right people from the Kasi to represent
People
Kasi.
to represent what we are.
All right. So what are we, Poster? What are we?
We are a nation that wants good. Like black people are just people who want good. You know, ARS says we are the nerds of the world. We just want peace. Which is why we agreed to this what's this apartheid thing. We just don't want to fight. We don't want that. We don't want
No, that's not in our nature though. It's honestly not in our
we just want peace.
Yeah, maybe we should share plans with everyone else and then it will be cool.
Yeah. Right.
If everyone in the world could just smoke a blunt all at the same time, man.
Now, Prosper, what do you think we need? What do you think we need as a people, Kasi people?
Like you said, like Mpho keeps hammering away, man. Knowledge, but it's not enough to have knowledge, man. Knowledge is something you act upon. You can have all the knowledge in the world. You know, some of our old people in the Kasi, man, they have the knowledge, but they're still stuck in the Kasi and not helping out because they did nothing with it. They sat on the knowledge and did nothing with it. So it's not enough to have knowledge. You need to, act on it. But I also understand the people who leave the Kasi and never come back. I mean, it's not only, it doesn't happen in the Kasi alone. I moved from the village, I go to Joburg, get schooled and get a job there. I'm not going back home for nobody. I'm taking my mama out of the village and we're staying in Joburg. That's it. There are some people like that. You understand me?
Yeah.
It's because that person was pursuing a better life for himself and his family, and he got his family out, and now that's why Joburg is so saturated and overpopulated. It can be its own country on its own.
Yeah.
I understand. Even though I understand that we also need people who will just go make it out and go back to the Kasi and then and help the other people and say, hey yo, this is the blueprint. This is how we get out of the Kasi.
You say people should
not necessarily like get out of the Kasi. I'm talking about being financially stable and whatever as a society. I mean, growing and whatever. This is how we get resources. This is how we better ourselves. This is how we become prosperous.
So you're saying
that's the context in which I was speaking on.
Yeah, you're saying so black people like ourselves, you as a person, you need to get the shit, get the stuff, and then come back and give it to the people so that they can develop themselves. Not to escape the
Because at the end of the day, look at it like this, T. I'm not going to go back to a Kasi and feed everyone. It's impossible.
Definitely.
I can tell you, I can using my experience, I can tell you how I made it.
Yeah.
Go back to the Kasi and say, look, this is what I do. These are the situations I came across. This is whatever. And this is what you can do to become prosperous. And the next person will do it, become prosperous, goes and then he teaches the next person, and jalo. And then we have like, well, if not all of them, at least half of the Kasi people, you'll see 5 houses, Bapakama BMW in their yards or something, making the mamas proud, improving the housing, starting businesses within the Kasi, because that's something I believe we need. Yeah. We had Lokshin culture. Lokshin culture was Kasi representing.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the biggest Kasi brand I know. Lokshin culture and Ama Kip Kip.
Yeah, definitely.
So we need more stuff like that.
I also wanted to touch on that. Like I want us to look at like the Indian people and the Indian society. These people, they Libona, they go back to their kasi, and they, like, if I'm studying to be a doctor, I'd study to be a doctor and then come back for the better of my people, teach my people, open these, clinics and whatever in our kasi, If I'm studying to be a teacher, the same thing, come back to open schools within our, communities, so that we can better our community. An Indian person doesn't go and live in 4 ways, and
it's rare.
It's rare to find them do that. They all go back to Roshni, and they build Roshni as a people, and they do it. I think we could also, and I think I was listening to Vusi Tembekwayo. He was also saying that why are we not building our gasis? Why are we not doing it? Why are we not doing it for ourselves? Why are we waiting for this government to build it for ourselves, for us? Why are we not doing it ourselves? Why are we not building gated communities like how Indians do?
Yeah. I think
can I also add one last thing? I think it also boils down to how we were indoctrinated. I remember this one example a couple of years ago that was given to me that really resonated within me. It was because, one, we don't support each other. Even if I were to start a business, someone said, you will find that two people, a black guy and a white guy, right, slaughter a cow. From the same cow, they get meat and barbecue the meat, the same meat from the same cow. But when you get there, a black person gets there, you see the white guy's cow, you probably buy it. You go to the black guy's cow, you assume automatically that something is wrong with it, and you just leave. You understand me? It's a mental conditioning that, if it's black, it's suspect. If it's white, it's right. And we need to get over that.
Yeah. I think maybe it's within the education, there are like poster chips on hammering the knowledge. The right knowledge will actually miseducate yourself into the right spaces. So yeah, I don't know how long y'all available to this. I think it's 5 o'clock. What time did we start?
Yeah.
What time did we start?
We started at like around 20 past 4. 3:30.
No, 3:30. Like this recording. Whoa. Damn.
Yes.
It's going to be long, once. Yeah, but anyway.
We'll have a part 2. We'll have a part 2.
Yeah, we should have a part 2. So yeah, like to wrap it up, shout out. I would really appreciate the time, the data, and the effort, and your minds as well.
Word.
Hopefully it reaches people, and it brings the conversation forth, and so on and so forth. I'm not sure if you have answered all the questions. So the question was, do we need Kasi? Definitely. And in the Kasi, people that will develop it into bring resources, create economic businesses, education, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I think that's happening. There's a great wave of Black entrepreneurs that is on the rise that I really appreciate now, because a lot of people are pulling themselves by the bootstraps. So there's a lot of things that I feel like I didn't touch on, for the sake of time and data and everything. So I think, I really appreciate, maybe your gospel, you can share some of your products with the people and some of your work.
Yeah.
Some of my what?
Your work. Some of your work and your projects or whatever you busy with,
Hey, yo, you leave the links in the description, man. I'll give you the links and you leave them down in the description, man.
Who are you, gospel? Tell the people who you are. Come on. Tell the people who you are.
Yo, I did it in the introduction already. Then My name is Gospel.
Mpho, you got a
Also
book
known as
out.
Guy. I'm a recording artist. I'm an author. I'm a poet. Yeah, that's what I do for a living. I write slick words to make people think that I'm smart.
You got.
You know, I use words to make people think I'm smart.
All right. Mr. Poster, do you have anything to share? Do you have any project you want to sell? Anything?
No, for now, I think the people just need to know, probably follow my social media. That's all, because I haven't done as much, you know, because I've been in a journey. So, yes, it's only now that, you know, I can come out and share what I have to the world. So,
Right.
yeah.
Superb, superb.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is the start, a beginning of the greatest, you know, most mentally emancipating channel for the Kasi people, and hopefully, it reaches landmarks that it needs to reach, because this as a channel. In closing, this is a channel I'm hoping to like bring, you know, people that can write scripts, you know, connect the right people with the right script, with the right resources, to have movies, you know, with our own authentic quality, you know, with quality movies that needs to be, you know, seen by the people, shared, and books, you know, music and everything, the art, the culture, and the right knowledge. You know, hopefully the channel gets to that point. And yeah, I really appreciate your time, effort, and
Yeah.
thank you all for joining us. And
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Thanks.
yeah, for
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you, Gospel. Thank you, man.
Word, man.
I will. So y'all can end it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, man. Now those were the GTs, homies that I really respect, and hopefully you will share, like, and subscribe to the channel. Hopefully, whatever that you felt was untouched, we didn't speak on, you know, maybe the spirituality, the religion, and the bodies as well, and the differences that probably are, you know, significant to our mental emancipation. I really appreciate the time and the effort y'all put in watching this channel. Yeah, shout out. Thank you.